Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Sayyid Asyhur Raihan. My student number 193201335. And now I will give you the presentation about exchange structure or IRV. Let's check it out. First is introduction. In 1975, Sinclair and Coulthard suggested a descriptive system for the discourse of classrooms. They found the radio structure in the verbal interactions between students and teacher, and the exchange structure model resulted. According to Sinclair and Coulthard, 1984, in McCarthy, 1991, an exchange structure is a communication sequence that may be used to analyze the types of conversations. The three-part structure was first put forward by Sinclair and Coulthard in 1975 and is known as the IRV exchange structure. IRV pattern starts from the teachers ask questions, then the students answer the question, then the teacher provides feedback to the answer given by the students. The work of Sinclair and Coulthard had a hard impact on our understandings of the ways in which teachers and students communicate, and it led to many advances in the field. IRV is also known as a recitation script or threaded structure, from their work analyzing classroom interactions. The Birmingham group identified the now famous initiations, response, and follow-up, as we call the IRV exchange structure. There exists a structure in every rank above the lowest, which can be expressed in terms of the units next below it. According to Sinclair and Coulthard, 1992, thus the structure of transactions consists of units of exchanges, exchange units of moves, and move units of X. These are the IRV patterns. The first is initiation, the second is response, the third follow-up. Initiation, according to Sinclair and Coulthard, is the beginning of a teacher-led dialogue. The second, response. Response is the students do interact response the teacher stimuli. The last is follow-up. Follow-up is the feedback, completes the cycle as it provides closure to initiation and response. It means that students get immediately the correction or evaluation for their response. An example. Initiation, teacher asks, how many months in a year? And the student responds the teacher's question, 12 months, sir. And the teacher directly follows up the student's response. That's right, boy. Now we will talk further about initiation. There are 7 types of initiation. First is elicit, uninformed, direct, cue, nominate, check, and prompt. So we start from the number 1 is elicit. The function of elicit is request response. So let's see the example. Who knows the history of G30 SPKI? And the second is inform. The function is giving information. Example, I have known that Soekarno is Indonesia's first president. And the third is direct. The function is giving instruction. And let's see the example. Silent, please. And the fourth, cue. The functions encourage hearer to contribute. The example, please open chapter number 2. And the fifth is check. The function of check is checking the progress. Let's see the example. Have you done your homework? And the next is nominate. The function of nominate is name respondent or responder's name. Let's see the example. Said, do you understand? And the last is prompt. The function of prompt is reinforces directives and elicitation. Let's see the example. Move it. Then we'll talk further about response. There are two types of response. First is react, and the second is reply. React itself is non-linguistic reply to directive. Example, nodding head, shaking head, yang artinya itu menggelengkan kepala dan menganggukkan kepala. Itu react. Kalau reply itu to an elicitation. Let's see the example. Understand, ma'am. Jadi kalau react itu bisa kita simpulkan tanpa perkataan, hanya gesture. Kalau reply itu dengan mengungkapkan sebuah kata. Seperti itu. Now we'll talk further about follow-up. And there are two types of follow-up. The first is accept, the second is evaluate. What is a step? Step is showing her correct information. And evaluating the respondent's response. An example of accept. Alright, well, nice, good job, great, and so on. And the example of evaluate, like good job. I will add some explanation that you presented before, or I will add some of words in your explanation. Now we'll have practice because practice makes perfect. So let's see the conversation below. Teacher, last week we have studied about moving camera. Who remembers how many kinds of camera movement? The students who has name is Said raising hand, and the teacher said, okay Said, please answer it. Said said, there are 8 kinds of camera movements, sir. The teacher asked, what are they, Said? Said said, they are zooming in, zooming out, and panning left, panning right, and tilting up, tilting down, and dolly in, dolly out, follow, framing in, framing out, and fading in, fading out, and the last is crabbing. And the teacher said, well, it's very great answer, Said. So let's do analyze from this conversation. From the first is teacher. Teacher said, last week we have studied about moving camera. Who remembers how many kinds of camera movement? It's types of initiation as elicit to request response. And the response of the teacher is Said. Said responds by raising hand. It responds as non-linguistic reply to a directive, because Said is only raising his hand, not saying anything. And the teacher say, okay Said, please answer it. It is initiation as elicit to request response, and Said answer as a response from the teacher. There are 8 kinds of camera movements. It is a response for elicitation. And again, the teacher asks, what are they, Said? Yeah, it is initiation as elicit to request response. And the response is from Said. Said answer, they are zooming, panning, tilting, dolly, follow, framing, fading, and crabbing. Yeah, it is a response for elicitation. And the teacher say, well, it's very great, answer Said. Yeah, it's a follow-up for accepting to show her correct information. Jadi di sini yang pertama itu teacher menanyakan kepada murid-muridnya yang ada di dalam kelas. Kemarin teacher bilang, kemarin kita udah belajar tentang kamera movement. Siapa yang ingat ada berapa macam kamera movement? Nah, kategori pertanyaan atau kalimat yang sang guru ucapkan itu termasuk kategori initiation. Initiation as elicit to request respond, karena sang teacher ini membutuhkan respon. Nah, respon itu ada di dalam kalimat percakapan berikutnya, yaitu di Sayyid. Sayyid merespon tapi dengan hanya mengangkat tangannya. Nah, responnya Sayyid itu termasuk respon as non-linguistic reply to a directive, karena Sayyid didn't say anything, dia hanya mengacungkan tangan, ya itu termasuk response as non-linguistic reply, hanya berupa gesture gitu. Nah, lanjut, teacher said, okay, Sayyid please answer. Oke, Sayyid silakan jawab, katanya. Nah, itu termasuk ke dalam initiation as elicit to request response, karena kata-kata sendiri ini membutuhkan respons. Nah, responsnya itu ada di Sayyid yang di bawahnya. Sayyid menjawab, ya, 8 kinds of camera movement, sir. Nah, ada 8 macam kamera movement, Pak, kata dia. Nah, respon Sayyid ini termasuk respon for elicitation, karena dia merespon dengan kata-kata dari invitation yang diberikan oleh sang guru sebelumnya. Nah, lanjut di bawahnya itu ada teacher menanyakan ada apa aja 8 itu, kata sang guru. Nah, itu termasuk ke dalam invitation as elicit to request respond, karena membutuhkan responnya ada di bawahnya yang dikatakan oleh Said. Ada zooming, ada panning, ada tilting, ada dolly, ada follow, ada framing, ada fading, ada juga crabbing, Pak, dia gitu. Nah, itu termasuk ke respond for elicitation. Nah, lanjut, teacher ini jawab, well, it's very great answer, Said. Nah, bagus banget saya jawabannya gitu. Nah, itu termasuk ke dalam follow up. Nah, kalimat sang guru terakhir ini itu adalah follow up. Nah, bahwasanya sang guru mendapatkan informasi yang benar gitu. Sekian dari saya. Jika ada kata-kata yang salah, mohon dimaafkan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.